Remember the Breslau-Friends. Disclaimer. My first intention is to get feedback so that knowledge can be refined. Then I would like to encourage reflection, leading to a togetherness in the style of the Breslau-Friends. My reports are based on oral tradition. Note in the reported injustices, innocent until proven guilty. Important, they happened in peacetime under modern legislation. Consider in Germany titles of nobility may not be held and no profit intentions are allowed. By profession I am an author of contemporary history and live from voluntary contributions, donations. Please indicate promotion of togetherness. Today my talk is about my mother, who was adopted by the family of my grandmother's friend as Princess Johanna of Hesse. Remarkable is that her father, Georg Donatus, had joined the leading party in 1937. It was known that in his duchy he wanted to influence its course for the better. He was killed in a plane crash that same year, and it is not known if that would have been successful. I had promised my grandmother that I would work on the memory of the Breslau-Friends. In late 2019 I found pictures for the first time that triggered precise recognition. Grandmother's descriptions of the events in those pictures more than 20 years ago had been so accurate that my confidence in her reporting grew stronger with each new piece of evidence. Then I came across more unbelievable, unprecedented circumstances which included unpleasant power struggles. I describe some illegal disturbances of this kind in these reports. Corrections are necessary to be able to make a blessing out of these stolen energies. I am far from feeling comfortable with this, since obviously the laws were not always respected. And now I want to give a general statement. I've been at this detective work quite some time now, and the question of why so much has gone to the disadvantage of the emperor's daughter, that is my grandmother, and her descendants, especially my mother, the answer is clearer more and more. It seems to be a system of selfish thinking people at work. It is about a conflict, maybe between bourgeoisie and nobility, between capitalism and socialism. And I clarify to this. I am there in both ways outside the camp. I am concerned with the best solutions, not with ideology. When I myself think of nobility, I think of an elite and the once elected nobility, who decided in the sense of those who had elected them. They were peasant kings, so to speak, who came from the sheds to represent the working class. When I myself think of nobility, then I think of elite behavior or excellence in quality, and I think of role models from long ago, elected by the people, who then decided in the sense of their people. We have a democratic system today, and for me the elite today is found in the quality of entrepreneurship, which of course also has profit in mind, but beyond that, does not forget that there is the golden rule, which is hardly ever mentioned in Europe and Germany, that you deal with others as you would want to experience it if you were to take their position. We are now talking about property disadvantages on a big scale, enough to feed an entire city. My mission is now to recover this energy, to promote a togetherness in the style of the Breslau-Friends. Those ones were not sitting around coffee tables, but they had the well-being of their city in mind. They were engaged in business, and yet did not forget the common welfare. They were driven by a common belief, which was also expressed in their slogan. My mission was ready to go since 1987. In an earlier video about Johanna of Hesse I described that her perspectives were soon eclipsed. Father, mother and brothers, they all fell victim to a plane crash. Her family had a modern inheritance law that allowed girls to inherit. Therefore Johanna of Hesse, my mother, was the heir of the Grand Duchy of Hesse-Darmstadt. Her uncle had not been on the plane crash. He had newly married and adopted my mother. Here comes the next mystery. In 1937, the newly adopted Johanna became seriously ill with meningitis and inflammation of the brain. Her mother, my grandmother, found her in this condition in the hospital. These doctors wanted to give up Johanna. They wanted to let her die. Grandmother had knowledge in herbal medicine, and she was confident that with God's help she could also cure this sickness. So, without further ado, she took her daughter home from the hospital and nursed her back to health using healing herbal vapors. In the process, however, she herself became seriously ill with meningitis. For some reason, Johanna of Hesse had been given a grave. From then on, she grew up undercover, under security measures in Breslau. And, for example, for security reasons, she had to dye her hair dark so that she would not be recognized.